Well, greetings to you. So it's more money for the NHS, the great sacred cow of British politics. More and more and more money. And the service gets worse and worse and worse. Now, why is that? And what do I know about it? Well, my wife worked for the NHS, my sister worked for the NHS, and I have lots and lots of young friends who are senior surgeons in the NHS. So I get quite a lot of information straight from the stable cat, as it were. Now, I checked up today's government figures, all right? We spend £280 billion a year on health in this country, okay? That is £4,500 per person. Every man jack of us per year digs out £4,500 in taxation, borrowed money, so on and so forth. And of course, the service is bloody useless. All my friends of a certain age who need a new hip or a new knee are just going private at great expense. They're going private, having paid into the system all their lives. Is there a doctor when you go to A&E? Occasionally you need to go to A&E. Do you find a doctor there? Not on a Sunday, you don't, for a start. You just find a form-filling nurse in there. She fills all the forms in, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Now, my sister worked in administration in Norfolk in Norwich Infirmary, I think it was. And she was quite middle ranking, I suppose, middle management. And she was telling me that she could buy things like mattresses for half the price online as they were paying. The NHS has no fiscal discipline whatsoever. It's an utter shambles. And let's have a look at the people who work in it. Now, we all know the nurses are good and the doctors are good and so on and so forth. I'm not disputing any of that. What we, though, have is a problem insofar as we have 1.2 million people working for the NHS, only half of whom have any form of medical qualification at all. My wife is a physio, as it happens. So there are 600,000 plus people in the NHS who don't have anything to do with treating you or treating your health at all. Now, I know it needs some people to administrate, and I know it's some people to do this and that and the other, but 600,000 of the buggers, what do they all do? And where's all this money going? Would it interest you to know that the average salary for a hospital administrator, this is the average salary, is nearly twice as much as a fully trained theatre nurse? I bet you didn't know that. Did you know they have diversity officers? Do you know they have climate change consultants? And so it goes on as the human resource department expands and spans. More money isn't going to serve it. More money's a waste of time. What they need to do is knock it all down and start again. And I tell you what we could do to start with, and the political classes, and indeed the electorate, and mainstream media could do. Stop using the bloody word free. The NHS is not free. It's bloody expensive, as I just told you. £280 billion a year. They're the government's own figures. And what do we get for it? Not a lot. Not a lot. It's a shambles. It was conceived in 1948, and it's an anachronism. It's out of date. Do you drive a 1948 car? Have you got a 1948 telephone? Of course you haven't, because things move on. And the NHS just hasn't moved on. It's got to go. That's enough money. Let's start again and run it along the German lines. Have a look. I'm not going to do all the bloody work for you. Have a look at the way the Germans run it. And it's a little bit like the old system. And in fact, it's what Beveridge envisaged in 1943, that you buy a stamp and it entitles you to your health. Now, the world and his wife come to this country and get the benefit of the NHS. It's got to stop. I'm fed up with it. All my health is private. My family's health is private because the system, the NHS system, just simply doesn't work. It's got to stop sooner or later. More money's not the answer. They've got plenty of money. They don't have any management ability. As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research-based. And I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I'll automatically share it with you. So, surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.